Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Things are looking a little different over here and hopefully they're sounding okay. I have a new setup here for live streaming and I didn't want to move all my equipment around to film in my normal area. The microphone is not hooked up right now, so I'm sorry if the quality is not the best or if I'm like shouting at you, but that is why we are positioned here for today's video. I don't know why I always feel like I have to give a disclaimer, but today's video is going to be a review, first impression, tutorial, first time using the Natasha Denona Retro Palette. Natasha Denona has been kind of a recent favorite for me as far as eyeshadow palettes. I was never super into the big ones, like the $125 ones. I think they're amazing and great to have. The quality is amazing, but you guys know you can always find high quality eyeshadow for a lot cheaper, but this mid-range palette size has really got me. This is still expensive. It's a $65 palette, but there's something about like the mid-range that suckers me in. My last Natasha Denona review was of the Glam palette, and I still use this to this day. This is a little different. It's laid out with suggestions, so it has like blend, lash line, and this is like a really beautiful neutral everyday type of palette. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, I actually really love the review and the look in that video if you want to check it out. This one is a little bit different. So when I saw this palette, actually it's a lot different. When I saw this palette, I saw romantic eye look, date night, Valentine's Day, bridal maybe. I don't know. I had to have it. I definitely have colors like this in my collection and we will make comparisons today, but something about it suckered me in immediately. I don't know about you guys, but it's beautiful. This intro is getting excessively long, but basically we're going to be talking about this palette today. So if you guys are interested, give this video a thumbs up for me and subscribe if you haven't already to stick around for future videos. Now let's dive in. I'm actually going to show you guys how I got this eye look today. It was technically my second time using this palette because I did one eye off camera and one eye on camera. So let's get into the look. Then we're going to swatch this palette and compare it to other palettes. So let's slide on into my eye look today. Okay, so I am just gonna dive in and show you guys what I did on this eye. It wasn't exactly what I was going for. I don't know what I wanted to happen, but this kind of wasn't it. So we stumbled there accidentally. So I'm going to show you what I did and we're gonna try to recreate it on this eye. So first up, I'm going into the matte nude mauve shade and I'm using this Morphe brush. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of pokey, but for some reason I like this brush. So I'm just gonna go in and use this as my crease color. I do have a little bit of old school MAC Painterly on my eyes as a base today. So this is a really pretty mauve color. It is pretty dark. There are a couple lighter shades in the palette if you wanted a lighter transition. I kind of just have to keep hoping that this is recording because we're in a total different setup right here with new equipment, and you guys know, if you don't know, now you know I suck at technology. So we'll see. Next up, I'm going in with like kind of a maroon burgundy color called Groove, and this is where things kind of got weird when I was doing this eye, so we'll see if it gets weird again. But I'm going in with the E25 from Sigma. It's one of my favorite blending brushes, just picking up a little bit of this color on the tip. And sometimes maroons and purples and colors like that can be hard to blend, but what happened with this eye is it's like it almost picked up the color that I had down and left like a line where there was nothing there. So let's just see if that happens again. I'm tapping it in the crease. I don't know if it's happening again or if I'm just anticipating it. No, I think it might be. Like it's almost like you can see a line in my crease. So I'm just gonna have to layer this color like I did on the other eye. Usually the second eye turns out better because I know where I went wrong, so hopefully that's the case. So just building up the intensity. It's not as bad as what happened with the other eye. I think I just like applied too much on the other eye all at once. So a little bit at a time kind of works better for for the blending purposes. This time going in with the Detail Blending E27. We're going to pick up the really pretty shade. Actually, it might be my favorite shade out of the palette. It's called Hello, and I don't know how to describe it other than like a pewter color, like pewter. It's a very beautiful metallic. And this kind of saved the other eye, but I don't feel like this eye really needs saving. So I'm tapping it all over the open space and kind of up into the crease. The other eye had like a little bit of messiness that I needed to cover up. This one doesn't, but obviously I want them to look the same. And that's what I love about like trying new makeup looks like this, doing one eye and then sharing the tutorial with you guys. It's that I kind of get to practice first so you guys can see like an actual successful eye look. And next up, this is another favorite color. I guess I have a lot of favorite colors in this palette, but Psychedelic, the color right in the middle of the palette, the shimmery pink, beautiful glittery shade. I picked this up with the short shader brush from Sigma, just because a lot of my brushes are dirty right now. A pencil brush would be good for this. And this is going to be like a little starburst in the inner corner. So on this eye, I struggled a little bit with the underbrow, so I wanted it to be a little lighter, so I ended up going in with Mod. I'm going to take a tiny bit on this eye because I don't think I need it as much on this one, but this is a really good stark matte white. And I'm just going to apply this along the underbrow. It's a really simple look, but it ends up looking like you put a lot more effort in than you actually did. So next I'm going in with another favorite brush from Sigma. This is the E42 Precision Firm Blender. This is really good for colors underneath the eye. So I actually can't remember what I went in with. I think I had to have gone in with Hello again. So the same shade that's all over the lid, and lightly dusting this underneath the eyes. I like to cover up any wrinkles that I might have under the eyes. And in my opinion, shimmer shadows are actually really good for this. They add some dimension and it kind of just takes away from the wrinkleage that might be happening. This is definitely worth mentioning. I know that this video is about the palette, but if you are looking for a really good, precise eyeliner, the Huda Beauty Life Liner Quick and Easy Liner. It's a new liner. It is absolutely amazing. It has the tiniest tip that I've seen in an eyeliner, and it makes eyeliner so easy. So you don't have to do liner with this look. I think your eye might look a little bigger and brighter without it, but I've missed my wing. Like, I haven't done a wing in a while, so I did a little short wing over here, and then my lashes messed it up and I had to go over it and fix it. So I'm just gonna try to make it even with my other eye. I did kind of a low wing. Like, it's not going up, it's kind of just going outward. And the lashes I use today, guys, are from Wet n Wild Fantasy Makers, so like the Halloween collections that they started putting out, and they're tough to put on. So that's another reason why I kind of messed up my liner, but hopefully this time I'll make it thick enough to where I don't have to worry about the lash. But if you have a better lash, you can have a thinner line and not have to worry about it. So this is the lash. I honestly can't hate on it too much because these are super cheap, like $2 cheap, I think, at Walmart. So not super mad at the lash. I just have to apply my glue and wait for all that. They're just not as bendy as I like. But yeah, the new liner from Huda Beauty is definitely worth looking into if you haven't already. So this lash went on a lot better with a thicker line. So if you happen to be playing around with Fantasy Makers lashes and you're wearing liner, make sure it's thick enough to cover any mistakes, or just apply them without any liner and you'll be good to go. So that is how I got this eye look today. I would wear this on like a romantic night out. It's super simple, but I think it came together nicely. Before we swatch, I want to compare this palette to a couple I have in my collection just to see how similar and different they might be. First palette that came to mind is the Naked Cherry. The vibes just remind me of Naked Cherry. I really love this palette. I feel like it actually might be on sale somewhere. I've seen a lot of Urban Decay palettes go on sale. Now the key differences here are that there are super sparkly metallics in the Natasha Denona. This one is more of a matte palette. I mean, there's a couple shimmers, but it's pretty matte. They're very clearly two different palettes, but you get a lot of the same color tones, so just something to consider. And then a palette that I thought would be more similar is the Modern Renaissance from Anastasia. Now this one's actually quite different. Hopefully you can see the tones are different. So Modern Ren is a lot warmer. There's a couple little shades that might pull a little bit cherry, a little bit similar, but overall this one's a lot warmer. And then hear me out, this one is a lot different. You can clearly see this one is different, but this is the Amrezy palette, and basically what reminded me of this palette is the shimmery glittery pink. So if you already have the shimmery glittery pink and that's the reason why you're reaching for the retro palette, then maybe you don't need it. You guys let me know if you have any other comparisons that come to mind when you look at this palette. It's not the most unique palette in the world, but I do think it has some beautiful color combinations. So I want to get into swatching this for you guys, and I do have a swatch post. I'm going to show you all the colors next to each other, but let's get into some finger swatches. We're going to start off with the first shade in the palette, which is Glitz. So there is Glitz. It's kind of a little bit duochrome. Next up is the shade Andy, and this is like a purpley mauve matte satiny type of color. I would actually say that's very satin. Next is the shade Jude. This is more of like a silvery color. And I want you guys to keep in mind, I'm a little bit colorblind, so my descriptions are not always perfect. I am blinding you guys with my lights, but that is Jude. This palette has a nice matte whitish color called Mod. I say whitish because it's just a tiny bit kind of creamy. I don't know if this one's gonna swatch the best because it picks up a little powdery. I don't think that's bad for a matte white at all. Next is the last shade on the top row. It's called Vivian. These are very soft. I don't know if Vivian's gonna show up well. It's kind of nude on me. This is also kind of satiny. Next, we're moving on to the second row, and the first shade I used on my eyes today, it's called Groove, and I would say it's burgundy, maroon burgundy-ish. So there is Groove, and I did kind of struggle to blend this, and I feel like that does reflect a little bit in the finger swatch. It's a little patchy. Next is a shade called Apart, and it's a brown shade, and this literally feels like a cream when you pick it up. Whoa. Next is that beautiful Barbie glittery pink. It's called Psychedelic, and this is on my inner corner today. And I'm looking down because the monitor is down there. I know it's annoying. That is blinding. You can't even see it. It's so blinding. Next up is the shade Go Go, and I would say this one pulls a little bit more Dusty Rose vibes. Again, with the creamy mattes. Like it may as well be a cream. Next up is the shade Patty, and it's pretty much the same color, but in a shimmer. Wow. Actually, that's more of like a toasted, like a toasty color. I don't know how to explain it. I've missed playing with makeup, you guys. I've been so busy outside of social media. It's sickening. It's actually gross. I'm working like 70-hour weeks. Next up is Swing, and this one is like a purpley burgundy shimmer color. That would have been pretty on the eye today. Ooh, I love that. See, I've done my little dainty swatches today, but I haven't done like my power swatches yet. So this is my first time really seeing them pack a punch. Next is Nude Mauve, the color I started my look with today, and this one might not show up on my skin tone. It kind of blends in with my fingertip. I jumped across my skin with that one, but it does show up. Next up is Rebellion, and this one again feels like a cream shadow, and this is definitely more of like a true maroon. Again, creamy. So there is Rebellion, and next up is what's all over my lid today, the shade Hello, which I can only describe as a metallic pewter color. I suck at describing this color. I don't know, what would you say that is? And finally we have Amara, which is a matte kind of reddy brown color, I think. That one also doesn't swatch the best with a finger. So yeah, you guys, it's no surprise that I love this palette. Of course, I'm never going to tell you that you need to spend $65 on a palette because I just don't believe that to be true. But if you were drawn into this palette like I was, I don't think you're going to be mad at yourself for splurging on it. And like the amazing thing about buying makeup these days is if you're unhappy with a palette for any reason, you can just return it. And I've never really been good about that and I feel kind of weird about it, but if I don't use something now, I will return it because that's an expensive product. But if it says anything, this is staying with me and this stayed with me. I love these and I feel like I'm gonna get my use out of this specifically for like date nights and special occasions and like around Valentine's Day because the tones really scream that to me. So that is all that I have to say about the new retro palette. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and liked the swatches and everything. If you did, please give it a thumbs up for me. It helps me a ton. And don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, and actually I'm doing TikTok now. I'm trying to stay active on all of my platforms even when I am super busy. So follow me over there if you guys are missing me over here because I am posting a lot more on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. I was gonna say Twitter, but Twitter is just where I vent. Now my dog is barking. Everything is so distracting right now, but thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go because I'm going to ramble, and I will see you hopefully very, very soon in my next video. Bye guys.